Here we go. Falsetti is coming into the box, the grid box now with TNMO there, following him around. And we are about to get underway. We're waiting for the lights to come on screen. There they are. And immediately we're going to be getting this Grand Prix kicked off right now. Off they go. Mizzo getting away quite nicely. Copy's actually there along with him as well. Copy's got the lead. He's got the inside line. Look at Buemo's coming in for this as well. Given the fact that they're on the medium tire, he's on the medium tires, he's doing insanely well to be able to hold everybody at bay. Bird's looking for an opportunity as well and just chilling, and that's not going to work out for him just yet. He's got the opportunity to still go for it, but not just yet. There's Beaker in P6 trying to get there done, and there was a lot of contact with the wall there. I saw quite a lot coming off it. There's the rotated car. That's the Haas of Racebug. He's facing in the wrong direction after coming through turn 4. It's just chilling. He's actually going side by side with Yonti. He's going around the outside, but he's not going to be able to get a position unless he can hold him dead to rights on the inside. Yonti's into the back of Beaker. Beaker had, I think, got away with it. I don't know if Yonti got any damage.
I don't know, but it was a very close one. Yonti just clipped the back and Rainbow spun, and that looks like it's a collision between Falsetti, Rainbow, and Tinamo. Igniton's able to fly past all of them. Great reactions from Igniton, but that's really unfortunate for Tinamo and Falsetti.
Actually, Mizzo might actually go for Copy. He's looking for it. Got to go around the outside. This is going to be an overtake of the weekend. If he can pull it off, he's not quite done it. He's actually got stuck into the back of him. And look at Buemo's now right here alongside them. He could easily just slip down the inside if a little gap is left open.
As we said, strategy can be key around this track, and I'm guessing that's what...
Hold that thought 1 second, because Brownie's going down the inside there of Yalta. That's a nice little overtake he's just done.
Long race, and that's going to be up the inside from Just Chillin' on Yonti, and Tracy spun. Just Chillin' spun, and he's going to go down the order, and he's going to turn around.
Now there in P4. Yonti's made a mistake there. Oh, the back end's kicked out for Yonti. He's rotated the car. He's actually coming into the line of the other drivers. He's just got out of the way. That was close for him, but he's facing the wrong direction. He's got traffic coming at him. He's trying to rotate. He's gone into the wall, and he's been disqualified. And there's contact. That's Beaker gets his front wing completely destroyed. Just Chillin' gets his front wing destroyed as well. This has just gone to pop.
Yeah, this has turned into chaos, and this is not what you want when it's going.
Poor Falsetti. He's just made one mistake, and that cost him 2 positions. He's now down into 15th place. He's looking for an inside line. TMO's gone a little bit deep. Oh, Falsetti. He caught it, but that's going to allow Racebug now to just slip on past him. And Beaker, even to an extent, he's coming out of this as well. Look how quick he's coming in. Timo's gone deep into the corner. That's allowed him to be caught up by Racebug. Falsetti's gone by as well. Beaker's coming by Hamilton as well. Timo loses 3 places in 1 corner.
Wow.
Insane stuff, to say the least. Racebug forces Falsetti again over to the outside. Just scares him a little bit. Falsetti is trying to hold himself together. Beaker, oh, Just Chillin'. Just Chilling's had a major issue, gone into the wall. That's left end play and left wing down. He's got nothing to lose. He's actually scrapping right now with Marco. He's going around the outside of him. He's going to be able to pull this one off. He's actually ran a little bit wide there, but he's got it. Beautiful move there from Beaker, but the one risk he's got now is that Marco could get into his slipstream. It doesn't look like he wants to. He's also got his teammate there, Bird, running alongside him as well. He's looking for the overtake into the... he's gone around the outside here with Beaker. Beaker's squeezing just to the outside. I've seen this before. We saw it early in the hype video, and Bird's lost control. He's just kept his car out the wall, but Beaker will gain that position, and that looked very fiery for a little while. But Mizzo's just too much faster. Here he is, mode 5 now, and you know that Lemon's doing the exact same. He's burning as much ERS as possible, but Mizzo's going to be going around the outside. Lemon's holding him dead to rights as much as possible. Mizzo goes deep. They're going into the corner, but Mizzo is ahead. Lemon has been sent out wide. Lemon's trying to come back at him. He's actually colliding with him just a bit too much than he necessarily should, but Mizzo finally gets the job done. He's right now. Brownie is going to go for it right down the inside. That's actually going to send Lemon out wide. Lemon's Gooby's trying to get involved in this as well. Actually backs out earlier. Brownie goes around the outside again. Lemon's going to squeeze him off to the outside once more, but he has the inside for this one, which is going to allow Brownie to get the drive done. Oh, that's Lemon in the wall. That's Lemon retired. That's Lemon out of this Grand Prix. We knew he had penalties anyway, but now he's completely out. We are going to go to our race leader, which is Martin G, who's had a very ups and downsy race overall, but come through the final corner now. He gets the 25 points. Martin G with an exceptional performance overall. He flew in the wet, and Mizzo, who really looked hopeful to take that race win, just pushes a little bit too hard, damages his wing, but he gets a solid P2. Here comes Brownie. Red fuel warning light. He hasn't run out though, he's done it. And here comes P3, and Yota gets the podium. There it is.
We don't have to. Yeah, we're nowhere near going in, not even everyone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Russia. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me on the caster's desk are two special guests. We got Kai Bacchini and Jess Games. How are you both doing?
Great.
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm grand indeed, because I mean, look at the track. It's Russia. This is a slipstream fest, and it's a lot of opportunities for overtaking. But speaking of overtaking, here's the driver standings. Mizzo currently leading at 203 points, but very close behind is at Nick 10 with 192. Then Yonti and Buemels have got their own little scrap going on with 154 and then 150. Martin G slowly coming into it with 134. Then you've got Copy, Yawn, Lemon, Yolta, and Brownie. Rounding out the top 10, and it's kind of getting tight there. Just Chillin's just outside of. He's actually tied with his teammate for that 11th position, which is 41 points to separate them. Rainbow and Gooby, they are also tied as well, 24 points each. Beaker there in 15th, Blue 16th, Nicky 17th, Risberg 18th, Bird 19th, and Marco 20th. Now, Bird has actually stepped away from the league, so he's being replaced by Fearcamp, I believe. He will not be taking part. But Mercedes currently leading the constructor standings with 328 points. Williams there got a little bit away, 40 points away, 41 in fact. Williams in P2, McLaren in P3, good 79 points. Then Haas, then Renault, then Toro Rosso, then Ferrari, then Alfa Romeo, then Racing Point, and then last but not least is Red Bull, and this is the track that they are going to be attacking on in particular. You got two DRS zones, two very long DRS zones, and tons of opportunity to overtake, especially as you come in towards turn 2. We'll see some action for that later. I'll say the soft, mediums, and hard tyres are the ones we're going to be going for. And speaking of turn 2, here's an example of that exact corner. As we saw, Max and Dennis swapped places in turns 2 and 3. And Dennis gets stuck on the outside a little bit, comes round the outside of Max, and there was a little bit of a nudge, and that caused Max to just rotate a little bit too much for him, and then pretty much fell outside of a really solid points position. Beaker and Mizzo into turn 4, they had a big collision, and in fact, that was the end of Beaker's race. He's hoping not to have that happen again, but Mizzo, yeah, did good. Let's send it just a little bit too deep in that corner. That is why there was a bit of contact, and now we have the hot lap for the Russian Grand Prix. On board with Yonti, that little kink there is turn 1. You got still the DRS all the way down here, and when we come to the race, it's going to be a very easy overtaking opportunity, providing you get it just right. Brake hard at the just before the 100-meter board. Get nicely down into gear 3. Turn in for turns 2 and 3. Now you got turn 3 here. Sorry, the long left-hander. Coming up towards turn 4. Again, there's another dive opportunity down the inside here if you can get it right. Mizzo didn't quite get it right in ERS, but he might be able to get it right here today. Now leading up towards turn 5 right there. Brick just a bit more than you necessarily think, and then 6 is going to be like just a gentle one. You don't really notice it, and then you got into 7 straight away. Clip the inside curve, don't clip it too much because you will get a penalty, and then immediately coming in towards turn 8. Again, same situation. Clip it, but not too much. Line there, and then coming up towards turn 10, which is the hard braking zone, in towards the next DRS straight, which is the next major opportunity to overtake. Again, slipstream DRS being a huge factor, but it's such a difficult one here because if you get on the outside for this corner, you've got really difficult braking zone. You've got to brake really sharply into this very sharp right-hander as well. And again, you could easily run in wide into another car, potentially even go wide and go into the wall. Left-hander here, coming up to another little run to a braking zone, quite tight, very slow left-hander into another tight right, but watch out on the left-hand side. The wall comes in much faster than you think and can very easily lose a wheel there. I've seen that a few times. And then the final, second to last corner, and then the final corner of the Russian Grand Prix. Now, qualifying is underway. We're about to get that started, but the main question I've got to ask you, I'm going to start with Jess first. You know, the traditional ladies first situation. Jess, what's your top 3 prediction going to be for qualifying?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one because Russia usually tends to be very low on tyre wear, so you don't have to be too aggressive. Well, you don't have to be too aggressive on your tyres, but I am gonna go for Lemon P1, Mizzo P2, and I'm gonna put Nick Turn P3. I'll hand it over to Kai for his predictions.
Yeah, as you said, track conditions are looking pretty good. Don't know if it's going to stay dry all throughout, and that may make a difference to the standings for the race, because different drivers are better in different conditions. But Lemon's retired, so I think he may have a quali ban.
That's probably put my prediction out the window then. I completely forgot he'd had a quali ban.
Yeah, so I think that changes it up a bit. I'm going to say Martin G is going to be in my top 3. Mizzo is also... Martin G, Mizzo, and a Nickton.
Now, Jess, I'm going to let you have your opportunity to revisit your predictions. Have a good think about it whilst I'm quickly going through mine. But I'm looking at the likes of it, Nickton and Mizzo, to be the fastest overall. They have insane pace, and I got a little teaser of it on Tuesday, and Nickton did incredibly well. Mizzo, up until this little incident with Beaker, did incredibly well, and I think that will probably reign true throughout here. Jorn didn't quite impress me as much as he really should have done, so I'm not quite expecting him to get into the top 3. And also kind of looking at Nicky to be battling with Martin G. I think Martin G will take the 3rd spot, so I am going to go at Nickton, Mizzo, then Martin G for the 1, 2, 3. But Martin G could really just take the opportunity to change it away. And Jess, have you had your a little thought there? Have you decided to change it up?
I'm going to move Mizzo up the top, Nickton P2, Martin G P3.
Okay, that's fair. So, 15 minutes remaining of the session. We've had 3 minutes so far. No one's put a time on the board. We do have Martin G out there on the softs, and incidentally, there's actually only 2 drivers. They've actually gone for the medium tyres so far. One of which has just started an out lap. The other one has just started a hot lap. It's looking pretty good, though.
Yeah, it is, and I'm quite surprised quite a lot of people are going on the softs. It just goes to show how much I don't know much about the tyre strategy on this track, but as we've seen in other games, like the Hyper Softs do last quite a long time. They last about 10 laps or so more than other tracks, so I could expect to see the Softs will last a bit longer than the other tracks that require a lot more of the soft compounder tyres. So yeah, I could expect people pushing the softs to the limit today as much as they can to get the best position.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to see drivers doing today, as a lot of them are on softs already, 1 or 2 are on mediums, so that shows that no one's going to be trying to start on the mediums because it's very early in the tyre zone. People, you can see they're already pushing, do 1:31 4s. Those are quite decent lap times for early on in the session. So I think we're going to be people looking for softs to mediums, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the softs, well, at least on Tuesday, I don't know if it was just the drivers and the way that they were handling the car or not, but the softs disintegrate far too quickly. I found that the people that pushed the softs too far actually lost a hell of a lot of time. And again, it could be a number of different things. It could be the car setup. It could be the way that they're taking their lines. It could be a range of different issues. I don't think the softs are going to be the tyre to be on. I mean, they're going to do it in the qualifying, almost guaranteed that. Anybody who can qualify in the top 10 on a medium and still deliver insane time is probably going to be the one who's going to do incredibly well. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. Only the drivers really know what the best strategy is. 1:31.272 is the current fastest time set by Nicky as it stands. Do we think anybody can beat him, Jess?
Ooh, I don't know. I've known Nicky to produce lap times early on, but I think there's some people that haven't had it out of the tank yet. We've probably seen people turn the party engine mode a little bit too low at the moment because they don't want to show true pace yet, because otherwise there's going to be people that say, hang on, I could go faster than that. And then boom, that will probably be the faster time of the session. So they're just getting a feel for the track now. And I think we're starting to see the track evolving a little bit, as I think Bremel's just beat Nicky as well. So we're starting to see a bit more people improve. I'm quite surprised there's quite a few people invalidated their lap times at the moment. I think Mizzo hasn't set a lap time, neither has Martin G. So they're going into the pits now, so I'm guessing they must have been... It is quite a penalty-driven track, I must say. There's a lot of places where you can cut corners, so I do expect a lot of people to not set lap times yet, but we don't want to turn into a one-shot quali situation, so they got to be quick and getting their laps in, because you never know, weather could throw a spanner in the works. We don't know what the weather is like, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think definitely another man to keep our eyes on is Buemos. He's very quick, and he's won a couple of races before in the RNL, so I think he's one person who you cannot underestimate in these conditions.
Definitely not. Buemos, especially given the fact that he this is a track that can actually work so much better on a controller than it does on many other tracks. So Buemos actually is looking pretty good. I mean, 4/10 clear currently of Nicky, and Nicky's not slow by any stretch of the imagination. We've seen him in I think it was Hungary, his first race in the Rwagnation League. He drove in Hungary and he actually smashed the time away. Yeah, he went on the softs and yeah, the tyre absolutely fell apart, but he still chucked away an absolutely insane lap time. And I think he's not going to be a shy of that here. But I think Buemos actually may have been someone we all overlooked.
Yeah, I think so. We've seen that in a few races in RNL. Usually either all three of us have predicted Buemos to be lower down, and then suddenly he produces a good comeback or a good finishing result and possibly puts on the podium. So don't forget, Buemos is on a pad as well, I think. I'm not entirely sure. So whereas most of these guys are on the wheels. So Russia is quite difficult on a pad. It's usually quite a wheel-driven track at times. I know Japan's quite wheel-driven as well. So Buemos is going to find it difficult. But it's nice to see a pad driver up there at the top step. It just goes to show that you don't have to be on a wheel to do well in F1 2019.
Yeah, it's good to see that drivers are able to pick up the game on a variety of different levels, and they're still able to compete with people who are playing it professionally, getting the best gear possible, and they're still competing with people who are just playing on a controller.
Well, this is it. It's great to see a lot of the drivers actually really pushing themselves to the limit, but Buemos is just kind of showing that you don't have to have the best equipment in order to be the best driver. And honestly, it's fantastic to see a bridge between the gap. Obviously, the difficulty that Buemos has got is he doesn't quite have enough buttons to do everything he wants and more. So that's the one major sort of setback, if you like. But Yota's out there currently on a hot lap. P15 as it stands, hasn't yet put a time on the board, neither of the remaining 9 drivers. Obviously, Beaker being one of them. Beaker's actually in a bit of a predicament. He's not near the top 10 in terms of points, and we're running out of races.
Yes, and for those of you that are new to RNL in general, how they qualify is based on their results from last season, and obviously the special qualifying night that the RNL put on. And if you finish in the top 10, you're guaranteed a spot for next season. And if you finish outside the top 10, that is where you're going to have a lot of issues. So we've seen Beaker in the past, especially last season. He was so close to not making it, but he just made it by the skin of his teeth. And Beaker can't afford to do that. Beaker has won a season of RNL, and we haven't seen that form yet. And he's the one who sometimes he's a bit unlucky with in terms of instance. And he's got to be more consistent towards the end of the Grand Prix, because you're running out of races. You got to put in the points in, and there's people that also are in Beaker's level and also trying to improve and have got more points than him. So I wonder, is time running out for Beaker? We'll see.
Yeah, Beaker's in a predicament. Sorry, Kai. Beaker is in a bit of a predicament. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it in the top 10. It's going to be a rough one. But Kai, what were you saying? Sorry.
Yeah, and as you said, Beaker is the previous champion, and he is struggling to pick up points in this season, and that's just shown the level of drivers we have this season. And I think that's just amazing, seeing the level of commitment that people put in to be up at the top.
Yeah, a lot of crazy skill among these drivers, but you don't just get skill out of nowhere. You have to put time and practice in, trying to understand the best racing lines to take. And Buemos is currently out there again, trying to show everybody the best racing line to take, as he's currently sat on pole position. It is provisional pole, obviously, 7 minutes 45 to go, and Mizzo's just beat that, 1:30.651, so 2/10 ahead of Buemos, and a little bit on top of that. Mizzo looking hot. I did say he was going to be good. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Nick Turner's not actually been able to put a time on the board yet.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised as well. We've only got 7 minutes left of session. Maybe not find too much grip yet, as we are seeing him moving out of the way of some cars and him struggling on the corners a little bit. But he's another one who has been top of our now last season, and there's some races where he's done really well, some races where he hasn't. So, but I can see he just hasn't found the pace yet. But he's probably gonna do a Lewis Hamilton or a Max Verstappen towards the end and pull up the best lap possible, and then just show what he's made of. And Mizzo's been one of his rivals this season, and as we've seen Nicky that's just gone past, we've got McLaren 1-2. We haven't seen that every day. So I think Nick Turn is going to have a hard time beating Mizzo tonight for sure.
Yeah, I think Nicky currently sitting on pole with 6 minutes left to go. We see a couple of drivers on track trying to just put some track time in, maybe set a lap that they haven't been able to do so far. And yeah, with 6 minutes left to go, I think we're going to see drivers coming into the pits and getting ready for their final stint.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the drivers in this final push. Nick Turn's currently going for it as quick as he possibly can. I want to see what his end of Sector 2 time is when he gets towards the end of this straight. Or isn't straight, as it isn't quite actually straight at all. It is a full flat out series of corners, but you can absolutely go for it. Let's see. I've not got a gap time there. See, he's reached the end. I guess we're only going to have to see if he can smash a good time in. Coming through the final few corners. This is a very awkward section of corners. I think he may have actually just invalidated by just cutting that corner a little bit more than he necessarily wanted to. And yep, in the pits again.
Yeah, and he hasn't got that long to go, so he's really got to get a move on. And the out lap is quite long around here because it's obviously quite a long lap, one of the longest laps on the calendar. Don't forget we've got Belgium and Singapore as well. So he hasn't got long to tune up his strategy a little bit. Find maybe another tyre or change a bit. Well, you can't really change much with this out because of part Ferme, but you know, and also Blue as well hasn't got enough time to try and get it as well. And like we said earlier, one-shot quality doesn't show the true potential of these drivers, and that is what Nick Turn is faced with. I never produced good laps with one-shot quality, so I wonder if Nick Turn is going to be in exactly the same predicament.
So Blue's crossed the line. He's gone 1:32.5. Kai, do you think Nick Turn can actually do a time and get him up there in the top?
I mean, it will be interesting to see. He is a very quick driver, and I think he's capable of getting a quick time and going up at the top. It will just be a question of will he be able to do it today. We know he's capable of doing it. He's currently hasn't set a time, but will he be able to shock us all and set a stellar lap time at the end?
I think a 1:35.85 is just maybe a little bit too much to ask to beat. I mean, that's an insane time. You've got Mizzo right there behind him as well, 1:30.651. That's not a slow time by any stretch of the imagination. We look at the gap to leader. It's currently the top 10. Actually, Beaker just sitting on the edge of that, 8/10 in the top 10, and you've got one just chilling outside by 1.1. The one thing I am seeing, though, is every single person has done a lap on the soft tyres, right? No one is doing any mediums or any hards to try and take him into the next race. Obviously, hards are nowhere near going to get touched, but the mediums, it tells me either one of two things. Either they believe something that we don't, which is that the softs can go further than I said they could, or we're expecting a wet session at the beginning, because that would be the only way I could think of that every single driver on this track would go for a soft.
Yeah, and obviously, in any dry situation I've been in, I've seen, regardless of the track, people go on the hards first. And we haven't seen anyone on the hards today. I think we've seen a lot more people on the soft and a lot more people on the mediums. Like we said earlier, we don't get told the weather. Only the drivers know the weather. And there's usually some leagues that tell the commentators about the weather situation. We just like to leave it a surprise, just so we just get a little bit of real experience. But yeah, I think it's telling me that there might be it might be a wet start and it might be a dry race at the end. I don't know. It's going to be too tough to call, I think. But yeah, all at 18 cars on the soft tyres. This is going to be fight to the finish for all 18 drivers today.
My prediction is because obviously most drivers are on their dry setups, because there's no way you could set these lap times on a wet setup, that it's going to be wet for the first, I don't know, first 10, 15 laps of the race, or maybe your first stop. and then it's going to turn out dry, because why else would you equip a dry setup?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It could be that they're just insanely fast and actually checking these times in, and maybe if they were on dry setups, they could go even faster than this. Or, you know, we could be completely wrong. The fact that Nickturn is struggling to put a time in kind of suggests to me that maybe they are on a wet setup, but I really don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing the beginning of the race just to see if we have got a wet start, because a wet start here in Russia would just be mental. Coming in towards turn 2 is going to become a really difficult braking zone. There's no doubt going to be some sort of collisions, no doubt going to be wing damage, just because of how hard it is to maintain the pace, maintain your track position, but also get the car slowed down enough in towards turn 1 when you can't see because of the spray being kicked up in front of you. But we have gone past it. We are past the calm before the storm, as all the cars were in the pits. They've now on out laps, and interestingly, Blue has done 3 laps on the softs. He's going again to try and improve, which tells me it has to be a wet start. Surely there is no way he would want to start the race on very used softs.
Yeah, because if you're on 3 laps on the softs, that's going to put major disadvantage to you in the race, because you're going to end up pitting a few laps earlier than the guys on the soft. So surely it's going to definitely be a wet start. They'll get free they only get a tire choice of the inches or the wet. How wet is going to be a different story. It might be full wet, it might be just instant go to dries at the end. But yeah, if you're on softs for a long period of time, it's going to cost you race. But Blue at the moment is P16, and if it was a dry start, he would get free choice of tyres anyway. So as long as he stays there, if it's going to be a dry start of the race, it's not going to make much of a difference. But as long as Blue doesn't improve, and he's binned it. I can't remember where what sector, but he's out of qualifying. That is his qualifying done.
So, I know, sorry to interrupt you, Kai, but Rainbow and Nickturn have actually just been scrapping on that outlap. For whatever reason. And Nickturn was on a hot lap. Rainbow was all over the back of him and decided to go for it. What were you saying, Kai?
Well, Nickturn was letting him pass because Nickturn he'd invalidated his hot lap. And then he's luckily, with 2 seconds to spare,
whoa,
good stuff from Nickturn then to be able to start this lap. Obviously, it doesn't mean he's had a lap of tyre wear on the tyres, but ultimately, if it is what we think is going to be, which is going to be a wet start, then that would mean that it doesn't really matter. Veerkamp is the first person to have ended his session outside of those, so you got Beaker and Blue. Yonti's just jumped up to P4 with a 130.930, so he's looking pretty good as it stands. Again, in the race situation, that's where Yonti excels. So in the qualifying, the further up the order he is, the better his chances are in the race overall.
Nickton's invalidated and he forgot to shift up.
That's heartbreaking.
Aww. That's cruel. That's cruel for Nickturn. That means he'll be starting the race in P18 as well. That's going to be in front of Lemon. That's just heartbreaking, especially if it's going to be a wet start as well. That's going to make him climbing up the field even more difficult. As we're starting to see more people across the line now, as Martin G slowing down, he can't improve. We've got Nickton's teammate Copy, or no, that's not going to be an improved time. I'm just seeing if anyone else is on the lap. Rainbow, he can only manage P14. I'm just seeing Marco's going into the... And yeah, that's it. That's the end of qualifying.
That's heartbreaking to see a Nickton invalidate on his final chance in the last section, in the last sector of the lap.
Yeah, it's a shocker, to be honest. I mean, he's going to be in a similar boat as like Lemon is, for example. They're both really, really fast drivers. I think having those two right at the back of the grid, just sort of rear-endering everybody, is just trying to get down the insides of, especially in towards turn 1. Now, I've done it myself on this track. The run up towards turn 2, sorry, is such a long one. But you can get such a good start off, and if you've got that nailed down, the technique perfectly sussed out, you can absolutely gain places all the way up towards turn 2. And again, it's just all about making sure you brake at the right time, you don't lose out, and if you're in the wet conditions, it's a lot harder and a lot more... you haven't got the muscle memory as easy, and that's the main issue you're going to have. But you know, these guys are pros for a reason. So here is the rundown at the end of that qualifying. Mizzo is the fastest overall and will take pole position with a 130.465, and then Nicky, his teammate. It's a McLaren 1-2, as Jess said earlier. You don't see these very often, but it's a 1.2 2/10 behind Mizzo, so he's done a 130.585. Then Buemos is right behind him as well in third. Yonti in fourth. Yon in fifth. Yota in sixth with Copy in seventh. Beaker actually in eighth, and he retired pretty early on actually, considering how much time was left when he retired. Then Martin G in ninth and Brownie in 10th. Best of the rest is Veerkamp. Now, I don't want to ask you predictions just yet because I want to wait and see if we are going to have wet weather at the beginning. Are we correct in what we thought? And the answer is no. It's actually a very dry session. So now I'm going to ask you, Jess, what's your top 3 for the end of this race?
I think the shock of the session in qualifying was definitely Nikki, because usually we see Mizzo up there at the top, but usually Nikki is further down a little bit. But Mizzo, I think, really needs to slipstream, and we did see in the real life Russian Grand Prix, we've seen the Ferraris giving each other slipstream, and that's helped those guys get position. So I'm going to predict if Nikki helps his teammate in the way he should, I think Mizzo's going to win. Not entirely sure who's going to get P2 and P3. It's going to be a tough one. I don't think Nikki's going to stay on the podium. I am going to. It's going to be a tough one. But I'm going to say. I'm probably going to jinx this now. I'm going to say Mizzo, Bremels, and Yonti.
And it's a dry start, and it's like beaming down. There's no clouds in the sky, so I don't see why everyone went soft.
Yeah, very odd to be seeing that. But you got the likes of Veerkamp, who's actually gone mediums, and I think realistically he's probably going to take these mediums quite far into the race. I don't think he's actually going to take the softs at all throughout his ground. I could be completely wrong. He may know something that I don't, but we saw obviously Blue try to do quite a lot of laps on those softs. Luckily, in this respect, he's outside of the top 10, so he can start on fresh tyres, which is good. The thing to think about, though, is how is he going to fare coming into later on in the stages? Obviously, at Nicktown and Lemon, they've also gone for medium tyres as well, so they're all in the same sort of boat in the bottom 5 there, and you can easily just push their way through, and I don't think the softs are going to be that much more beneficial overall. My worry is for those that are up there in the top 10, that have all done it on soft compound tyres. I actually worry if they're actually even going to make it into the same positions at least than they were in before. But Kai, we've not had it from you. We've had it from Jess. What is your top 3 prediction at the end of this race?
Ooh, that's a good one, because now with it being dry at the start, I think that changes it up a bit. And I think that it's going to have a great chance. And you can't forget about the people in the top 10, because obviously they're starting up in the top 10. They've got the soft tyres though. So I'm predicting for...
I believe we just lost Kai. Kai? Nope, it appears he's gone.
Oh, he's left the session.
Yeah,
he's
gone. He's gone.
Back. I'll see if I can invite him back.
But
actually,
whilst we are waiting for... I dropped him an invite anyway before we started, so he should have a backup one.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get cracking, though, Mizzo is obviously on pole as it stands. Nikki is there in P2, the two together. We saw, like you said, in the official F1 with the two Ferraris giving each other the toe throughout in the lead up towards turn 2, because it's just such a huge situation to be. You don't want to be P1 in this scenario. With that in mind, Nikki is someone who does get penalties quite consistently, so I think Nikki, like you say, will drop outside of the podium. I actually think Yonti will take the win today. It's either going to be between Yonti and Buemos. I think it's going to be Yonti P1, Buemos P2, Mizzo P3. And we're about to find out, because everyone is on the track. The lights are out and on screen, as you can see, not out. They're about to be out in just a second. Right now, and immediately we're going to be getting underway with the Russian Grand Prix. Nice little getaway there for Mizzo. Mizzo's fallen back quite considerably. Buemos is actually looking for the opportunity down the inside. It's going to be the outside coming in towards turn 2, though. I'm not sure if he's going to actually be able to hold it together, but look at the cars getting all bunched up together. There's a Ferrari going deep in the background. That's Brownie trying to get down the inside. A little contact between him and the Red Bull. There's also a little contact as well for Beaker and the Toro Rosso further upfield. You got the Toro Rosso of Yon, scrapping with Yolta. Yolta's coming around the outside on him. You've also got Yonti down the inside too. This is a very tense battle. And no, I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened to Yonti. He's fallen down the order. He's lagged around everywhere. Does he have wing damage?
Oh, I don't know. I just saw his car almost go to the spectators on my screen. That was just the weirdest thing that ever happened ever. So Yonti's dropped way down the order. and I think Jorn got a 5-second penalty for it, so I'm sure you would compete for that. But the two McLarens, great start from them. Like we said earlier about the toe being very powerful here as well, and Bremmel's getting a position up into P3. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. There's probably battles everywhere. We've got Yeltek and Jorn trying to fight for position here as Rainbow has retired from the session. We saw him spinning around turn 2 and turn 3 earlier, but Jorn managing to defend nicely onto Yeltek at the moment. Yeltek having a great finish last week. Obviously he had quite a few penalties last week which dropped him down the order, but this is where we could see Yeltek trying to get his form back to where he used to be, because he's doing very well in the racing point.
Yeah, exactly. Yolta right there, scrapping for P4. Did get a podium last week. He seems to have just suddenly found his mojo all of a sudden. He's just really on it. I mean, at the beginning of the AOR season, he was going for it and he was doing incredibly well in that respect. Looking at Just Chilling here. Looking for an overtake here on Favircamp. Going in towards turn 2. He's got the inside line. He's got the position. He's actually being sandwiched. There's Brownie just gone down the inside and sent it into the side of them. There was definitely contact, but I think Just Chilling's managed to avoid any damage. He has. So incredible stuff there from Just Chilling. He's looking for the overtake again on Faircamp. Brownie obviously again both places. That was very tight, very tense for both of them. Brownie managed to get away with it. Faircamp is coming through, and Racebook's just slipped on by Just Chilling as well. He's actually going to go down for the inside of Faircamp. Is Just Chilling going to get this back? Oh, wow, that was so close between them. It almost touched. There was almost a pit maneuver from Just Chilling into the back. But again, JSE is going alongside Faircamp, not going to get the position. Yonti's trying to get back at them. He's actually looking for the inside. Just Chilling's getting stuck and losing places left, right, and centre. Everyone's just flying past them both. And you got the Mercedes there of Lemon trying to get involved as well. He's also down the inside. Can't quite get it. Just Chilling's actually got a little bit of a mistake there through there. And he's hanging in very intently for P13.
Wow, that battle was just insane. Just Chilling was very unlucky the last few races, but he's dropping down the order now, so he might have had some sort of an issue, and this car's trying to get past him. But whilst you were watching that, I've just seen this insane battle between Yeltek and Martin G. They kept changing positions, and Martin G was able to get past Yeltek up into P6. So Martin G has made up 3 positions, and another P person has also gained quite a bit. There's obviously Lemon, who after starting from last place after having a quali ban, and also Beaker as well has had a very good start. He's been started 8, I believe, and is now into P5. So some big gainers already in this Grand Prix already, and Yeltek is not giving up on Martin G. And we also got Lemon trying to get past Yonti as well. I think he has got past Yonti. Yes, he has. So lots of moves being made down the field.
Yeah. I mean, the gaps now on the left-hand side are actually showing true. So that's exactly how it looks. And that's exactly how it's going to be. Currently, Yonti is the slowest soft runner. Obviously, he had a bit of contact earlier on in the session, and that caused him to be flung off into the wall. And from my side of things, it was very glitchy. Couldn't quite work out exactly what happened. But you can see on the right-hand side that he's missing an end plate. So turning left is going to be a lot harder than you think. But he's definitely still managing it as it stands. P13 is where he sits. He's probably going to get a wing replaced when he does decide to pit. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in early, goes onto hards, and just tries to take it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I won't be surprised, to be honest, because Russia is one of those tracks where if an incident, like we've seen in other tracks like Silverstone, Italy, Austria, you can go on the hards and almost certain you can try and get to the end if you can. It does depend on when you pit, of course. So if I was him, I would definitely go on the hard just for a little bit and then go on the softs at the end and then try and get that fastest lap point to try and steal it away from people inside the top 10, because that could be very, very, very cheeky as well. So meanwhile, gap up front, still 6 tenths separate between Nicky and Mizzo. Nicky's keeping it clean at the moment, but is going to get to that point in the race where Nicky may start to make a few mistakes, or he might just keep it clean and surprise us all. But both of McLaren teammates doing well. And we are starting to see Yeltek. He just got past Martin G a second ago as well. And also Copy is in a shot of getting past Martin G too. So is this the point where Martin G's softs are starting to die a little bit? Is he pushing a little bit too hard?
I'd be surprised. I mean, everyone's on the same sort of tyres as everyone else. It's just how they manage those tyres in the race. And so far, it seems like Copy's doing a pretty solid job. He's also got a very fast Ferrari behind him, and we saw earlier sent it down the inside of Just Chilling. And whilst it did work out for him, again, 2 places in just that one manoeuvre, it was a very risk sort of situation to go into. You don't want to do that if you can avoid it, but he got the positions out of it. He gained in the end, and And whilst he did gamble that risk, it definitely paid off. He got to reap the reward. I'm looking around for the area for P10. I mean, Racebug's actually just outside of DRS of Brownie. Brownie's obviously got DRS on Copy. Copy's obviously charging up to the back of Martin G. In fact, he might even go for a move here. This is going to be a tight one if he does attempt it. No, he doesn't. We saw just Yolta attack Martin G in that exact area of the track. I am seeing Buemos have just suddenly lost time to Mizzo. Mizzo suddenly gained time to Nicky. And whilst Buemos is just outside of the DRS range, Nicky and his teammate are probably just going to try and tow this all the way to get away from everyone else.
And I think that's working out because the guys behind as well, they're starting to get some overheat into their tyres. And I'm surprised that Russia is quite hot at this stage because I thought they would overheat quite later. But it seems to me they're trying to Martin G's out. What's happened to Martin G? Is it the pit lane?
Yeah, he's in the pit lane. He's had enough. He's just said, no, it's not working out for me. I'm not happy with my race situation. So that is him out. That is huge. So keep an eye on them for these soft runners because they will probably come into the pits and change over and probably even go to some hard tyres. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do about this, but we have seen one of very few safety cars that F1 2019 has ever produced.
Yeah, when was the last safety car in RNL?
I honestly don't remember. I honestly don't. There might have been... I don't think there was one last week. I don't remember there being one last week. I think there was a virtual safety car, but I don't remember there being a full safety car.
There wasn't a safety car last week. It was a virtual safety car, but I think most of the safety cars I've experienced on this game wasn't through commentary, it was actually via racing. I think there was one in Bahrain that I've experienced, and I think that was pretty much it. So I think they're non-existent on this game, but that's a chance for people on those soft tyres to take advantage of this and possibly try and get on a fresh set of rubber, maybe go onto the hards maybe until the end, or we may see other people might change their strategy a little bit. So it's probably come out for the right time for some of these guys just so they could get more heat into those tyres, and it may cool down a little bit as we've already seen Bremel taking a line to the pit lane, and yeah, he is going into the pits. I don't think Nicky is. Oh yeah, he is. Mizzo is as well, so the McLarens, are they double stacking? They are. That's going to be a risk, I think, for the two McLaren boys, but they have no other choice, I don't think.
Mizzo backed out to make sure he didn't stack too hard with Nicky. So he fell back, let Buemos through. He did concede that position, but tried to put himself in a scenario where he's going to be able to pit without actually losing any time. I think he still lost a little bit of time, but I did see Yolta gets a 5-second penalty for colliding with Beaker. I'm not sure how severe that was. I don't know if he had any wing damage or anything, but there is no surprise that everyone is chucking it in, changing the tyres over. Look how many people have actually gone to the hards, and crucially, Lemon and Nickturn, the people who started dead last and second to last, they've gone for the hard compound tyre. They're going the whole distance. Just Chillin's in the same boat. Interestingly, Yonti, who's coming to the pits, and I believe he's had a wing replaced. I'm going to look out for that in a second. If he has, that was brilliant, and the safety car's worked out for him. Yes, he has. So he's come out on mediums, which suggests to me at some point he's going to switch over to the softs again.
I think we could see a two-stop strategy today for most of these guys, because there's no way that the mediums could last that long. But like we said earlier, the tyre wear is quite low, so they, and obviously due to the safety car, they can go out on those medium tyres for a little bit longer than we might expected. So that's probably throws spanner in the works. I'm quite shocked that the top three on track at the moment haven't took advantage of that. They're going to lose so much time now to the guys. If they took they probably might have, I think they might lose the same amount of time as they would if they went to the pits anyway. So they will probably be on fresher tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix. But there's going to be guys that are really going to start to push for the DRS train. But these guys are going to be on older tyres, and that's going to cost them. So if they want to pit now, I think it's going to be too little, too late.
See, I actually think that what they've done is pretty smart. And the reason I say that is because obviously currently they started very far down. You got Racebook who started P12, you got Gooby who started P15, and ultimately you're thinking, right, well, they're 1, 2, and 3 right now, and all they have to do is just maintain place. Now, if it was a track like Hungary or Singapore or even Monaco, for example, this is this is perfect. This couldn't have been any better if they tried. There's no way anyone can overtake them because those tracks are very hard to overtake in general anyway. But on a track like this, where overtaking is pretty simple, all they really need to do is just try and minimize the amount of time lost altogether. Just try and use the slipstream in the toe of everybody else in front of them that passes them. Don't make their lives too difficult, because if you do, you're just going to injure your own race, and eventually you can just carry on with your strategy and go to the normal situations. It's just, no, I don't think anybody really knows how this is going to fare out right now.
Yeah, and that's why I like these situations where the safety car does come into play, because we'll get it's basically like a restart in a way. They get a chance to get a better start, and we get to see more battles, and who doesn't like more battles? And obviously we got guys at the front that have been pushing those tyres to the limit and trying to. They need to start and pull away as much as they can, really, if they want to try and gain an advantage of staying out a little bit longer as well. But I have noticed mediums, they'll probably get to about 70%. So I don't think Cam and Gooby want to take that risk. And they want to be on fresh tyres to the end and make sure they do get it to the end. And yeah, I think it's going to be push goes to shove for those mediums tyres to see if they can get it. But I don't know.
Well, we're seeing some fans in the chat for Fear Camp at the minute, who's currently sat P2 on the medium tyres. And it's looking a little bit rough around the edges for Racebug, who's on 6-lap-old softs right now. And that's kind of, I think Racebug's the one who's probably made the mistake out of these top three, if anybody.
Is he going to the pits? He's about.
We've got a fair bit to go here. I don't think he's going to be coming in just yet. I'd be surprised if he does. But I mean, the 6-lap-old softs, ultimately, the only thing I can think of that he's trying to do is he's just trying to take them far enough to go onto the hards. And that message at the bottom of your screen tells us exactly what's happened next, which is safety car in this lap. We have lost Jon. That's sad, the worst timing for him to have had a game crash or any other scenario right now. But we need to keep a very firm eye locked onto Racebug, but we also need to keep an eye very firmly locked onto the McLarens. Because remember, Mizzo backed off to let Buemos through. That meant that Buemos was able to get in that position, but it also meant that the McLarens didn't double stack. Now, Racebug, he's the one in control. He gets to decide when we restart this race. He's backed the pack up a little bit. He's slowing him down again, and now he's going for it. He's spanned the rears a bit too much. Oh, big tank slapper there from Racebug. He tried to just outplay everyone else, and it didn't work out for him, but Fearcamp's stuck on the grass, and that's allowed Gooby to get right up on the rear of him. Gone for mode 4. Here comes Nicky as well, looking for the opportunity between the two of them. He's going to take the inside line. He's looking for it. He's actually going to go 3 wide in towards turn 2. This is going to be very tense, very tight. Nicky is through. He's on the curb. Gooby's managed to get back up there as well. Look at that P2 for Gooby. Really well done by him. But Nicky's got the inside line. It's getting a little bit tense, a little bit tight. We've lost another one. That's Yota, who's been sent off really wide and sent down the field, packing his bags as Gooby has lost out to Racebug. And he's out to lose out as well. That's Nicky. He's lost out to Fearcamp's actually trying to come up on him as well. And looking at Mizzo, who's actually trying to do well. And he's not quite working out. Jon has fallen down the order, but I think he's back in again now. He's just struggling with everything. Let me have a look. No, Jon is actually AI. He's not actually here. So that's sad times. So I know that he left, but hopefully he can get back. But what a restart.
Wow. I'm impressed with Gooby, to be fair. I thought Gooby would drop Ray down the order, but he is not. And we've seen how well he's done last week. So, you know, it takes a while for some of these people to get used to the F1 2019 game. And I think Gooby is just starting to get a little bit more of a feel to the game now, and he's starting to put what he's learned from his engineer and obviously the other drivers around him and in the league to good use. And as Nicky, like we said, we could have seen a penalty, and he's got his first one, 3 seconds. Yeah. If I was him, I would help Mizzo right now, because Mizzo is clean with penalties, and they'll be in a party together. They'll be in a Discord server together, and they'll be talking strategy. They'll be saying, right, what could I do just to help the situation out a little bit? But no, he's not. Nicky's going to challenge Racebug for the race lead. Surely Nicky's going to get past Racebug now. No, Racebug is trying to shut the door, but it's not quite working out for him. He's off the track almost, and Gooby might take advantage of that as well, as he's going to go side by side, going into a long, tough section there. And yeah, Gooby is past Nicky. And Racebug is probably going to go on a fresh set of mediums or hards pretty soon. But Nicky, what? I think it's the best restarts that he has had. I thought he was going to drop down the order due to the fact of his penalty, but he has let, I think, he's gone away from this mindset of getting a penalty. He is concentrating on making sure that he's not going to let that penalty affect him, which is really going to help him.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, we haven't yet got DRS re-enabled. We've got to finish this lap before it gets turned on, and then you'll start to see everybody pace out a little bit and see who can really dump everything the most. We are still keeping our eyes firmly locked on Mizzo, because he's still, he's still in the running for potential race win here. I mean, you got obviously Gooby in P2, but he's much further in on these mediums, so his tyres will actually drop off 5 laps before Mizzo's do, if they were both matching in terms of tyre wear. Nicky is currently race leader, but does have a 3-second time penalty. Racebug, who's on softs, will no doubt chuck himself into the pit soon enough, but this is not a lap he's going to do it on. And as we come across the line, DRS will be enabled. Are we going to see any major overtakes coming up any second now?
I think we will, because obviously we only got 2 DRS straights, and they're going to try and put it to good use, really, as obviously there's going to be people that, I think everyone's going to be on a DRS train, as Bremels is going to take the left-hand side. He easily gets past Beercam. What a move from Bremels. And we also got Yawn's AI getting past Just Chilling. I think that's Yawn's AI as well. And Mizzo's trying to get past Racebug. Racebug's tyres are overheating quite a lot. They're struggling. As I think Racebug went off just a little bit, as Bremels is trying to keep on the racing line. Yes, he does, as Bremels gets past the P4, and more crucially, he's still within DRS range of Mizzo, so he's going to have a chance of getting through Mizzo as well. And I think Beercamp's doing impressively well as well. He's P6 at the moment, and he's P4. We could get past Racebug as well. So yeah. Yeah,
it's getting good. Now, actually, want to just give a bit of recognition to Beaker. Look, P7 right now, 3/10 off the back of Veerkamp. Veerkamp's getting a little bit excited, looking for an opportunity on Racebug. Racebug's having a lot of issues. Tyre wear definitely causing him a problem there. Mizzo's actually getting P2. Look, he's back where he was before. Veerkamp trying to attack Racebug as well, with Beaker chasing him down. Now, the issue is here for Beaker. Beaker is very unlucky when it comes to league races. There's a mixture of it being bad luck, but also a bit of mistakes from his part. So far, I've not really seen any mistakes from him. We are seeing Racebug come into the pits, and I was wondering whether or not Racebug was going to do it this time, because if he didn't, I'm pretty sure Beaker may have got caught up in that at some point, because Racebug was really losing it coming through to turn 4. But we are going again. DRS wing wide open for Beaker. Veerkamp doesn't have any slipstream or DRS to work with, and look at Beaker. Oh, that was close. Veerkamp very fair defending there. Beaker just managed to read it and dodge it and work it through. Goes through turns 1 and 2, and yeah, well done by him. But look at Copy trying to get down the inside. He's actually done that. Copy's through now on Veerkamp. So Veerkamp losing 2 places, and you've got Lemon chasing you down as well. Beaker's going to be happy that this is being held back by 2 additional cars. Does mean that Copy will have to hurry up and get to Beaker and stick with him as quick as possible, but also trying to shake off that Red Bull behind him so that Lemon doesn't really have anything to gain here.
Yes, because if they don't get a move on, they're going to have the likes of Beaker, Copy, Veerkamp, Lemon. They're all winning the DRS train. Beaker's leading that train. This is just absolutely mental. So, and obviously the more they battle, the more the cars behind will try to catch up. So, I think Beaker's a huge advantage and a disadvantage at the same time, because you're going to try and attack. As I think Yawn is back in the session. I don't think he's ghosted. No, he's not. He's back in the session, which is, I think, yeah, that is good news for Yawn. So he's back into 11th place, and he's going to try and get on the comeback here. He's going to stand any chance of getting points. No one wants to DC, and glad he's just joined at the right time there.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at his current situation. Yeah, he's P11. You think, oh, it's such a shame for Yawn. He did have that issue, but Yawn's race just got super exciting all of a sudden. He's going to be frustrated. He's going to be angry. He's going to be determined. And so is Gooby. He's going to be frustrated and angry, as he's just left the session as well. Looks like his game's crashing. He's going to be falling down the order. But the fact of the matter is, Beaker's under attack from Copy, and this battle is a train of battles that's going on currently for P5. So if Yawn gets his act together and gets his foot planted, he might actually be able to pass a fair few of these cars and get himself into a nice solid points position, much more than what he was anticipating at the moment when his game crashed.
Yes, Yawn is in a decent position right now, because he can wait until everyone else makes a mistake and he can capitalise on it. And we're seeing the likes of Nick Turner's on the hards, and he's going to make it to the end, whereas Yawn, he's on the medium. So knowing Yawn, he might try and get the position from Nick Turner, but Nick Turner is great on the hard compounded tyres. on this track, and we've seen Yawn still trying to get a little bit of heat into his tyres, I'm guessing, because obviously there's a first few laps that he's taken control again. And Gooby's just lost out to Bremels there, so Bremels is now up into P3, so he's on a podium spot here, and we've seen this before. Gooby wasn't able to gain time, and we've got the likes of Copy and Beaker now starting to join at the front, and we've got Nick Turner and Yawn going for it, and it looks like we're going to go side by side as well. Yawnty's going to see if he can try and get into this. He's staying back for now as Nick Turner's gone wide, and Yawnty's going to try and take full advantage of that, and he does. Yawnty is now 1 point before getting a points paying position, which is crucial at this stage, and Gooby's lost another position for Copy, and Beaker have got past Gooby, so that is a disadvantage to Gooby being on those tyres for quite a long time. That was just clever from Copy and Beaker there. Beaker's in his best position, and we've got Veerkam and Lemon trying to get at it as well. Lemon almost going exceeding track limits, and I think he did. Yes, he did. He got a 3-second time penalty, and so was Yawnty as well. So Lemon's just got past Veerkam for now, but for how long is he going to stay on track with those penalties? Oh, Misso. That's key. That's key, because both of the McLarens have got penalties. I don't think Bremels has. So if things stay as they are, I don't know. It's going to be a tough call. I'm just going to gap to lead at 4.3. So at the moment, it's going to be enough for Nicky to Nicky going to get P2. But for Mizzo, I think Bremels might just have edged him a little bit there.
So, going to give you a penalty rundown. Obviously, if you don't hear the names, it means that they don't have any penalties. So Nicky has 3 seconds, Mizzo has 3 seconds, Bremels doesn't have any, Copy doesn't have any, and neither does Beaker. So there's 3 drivers that could easily gain something out of here if they can keep it clean long enough. And obviously, we're still quite a way left to go, so that doesn't mean that it's going to change anytime soon. Obviously, Gooby then has 3. You got Lemon, who's got 3 as well. Veerkamp, who's got 6 and has just lost a position to Brownie as well. Then you got Yawnty, who's got 3, and Nick Turn's got 3. Just Chillin's got 3, and I believe that is it. I don't think anyone else has any penalties. So, keep an eye on Bremels, keep an eye on Copy and Beaker. They're in a really good position. Beaker, I didn't think I'd be saying this anytime soon, but he's actually looking really hot right now. As you can also see, Yawnty, there's a lot going on further down the field. There's actually, and Nick Turn's lost out. Veerkamp's falling down the order as well. He's down into P12. He was up there fighting with everybody further. Well, he was in top. He was P2 at one point, and now he's dropped right the way down the order to P12. Medium tyres will not be able to go much further for him. Then he seems to be really struggling on him. I think he gets in the pits, he changes tyres, he goes again, tries to come. Oh man, he's just losing the rear so much, so frequently. And he was doing really well. It's all just suddenly falling apart. But look at Beaker. Round the back of Copy. DRS about to be utilised. I think Beaker might get him here.
Beaker's got to get this far. We haven't seen Beaker in this position for a long time. He's been further down the field most races. This is where we can see Beaker start to shine. This is where we can see Beaker back when he was fighting for these type of positions, fighting for podiums, fighting for wins. Beaker is doing very well at the moment. He's trying to avoid the trouble that he's had last week, and trying to avoid as much incidents that he can. And it's paying off for him, I think. And I'm quite shocked that Beaker hasn't got any penalties in Russia, because obviously Russia is a penalty-driven track, like we said earlier on. And Copy's is run out of DRS. Beaker's got DRS, so is Gooby, but Gooby's lost so much time to Beaker. So this is going to be Copy versus Beaker in the run to turn 1. Beaker's going to get the right-hand side going into turn 1. Is he going to get the slipstream? Yes, he does. Beaker. I never felt I would be saying this anytime soon. Beaker's going to get P4, but look at this. Copy's going to go on the switchback on the left-hand side. Is Copy going to challenge Beaker for P4 once again? Looks like Copy has just taken P4. My glory has suddenly been taken away, but there we go. Copy and Beaker, great fighting for the pair of them as they fight for 4th position, as they're on the same amount of penalties. Good respect from both those drivers.
So I don't know if you saw that earlier, but Nicky got another 3-second time penalty. 6 seconds is how it looks for Nicky right now, and that's obviously great news for Bremels, Copy and Beaker. To be in those sorts of positions, being able to jump a driver that's currently race leading is great stuff, but Beaker needs to get a move on now. He cannot afford to sit behind Copy for much longer. Gooby is closing in slowly but surely. Yawn's actually closing in on the back of Brownie. Look at this. He has got his wing wide open. He's also in mode 4 for the ERS. Looking for the inside into the left, but he's going to be stuck on the outside for the right. Can he go around the outside? He's going for it. He's going to stick it all the way through. I think he might actually get his position for Brownie. Brownie's trying to hold him together. He's actually ran deep into the corner, and Yawn is through. Yawn is on fire. He's coming back. Keep an eye out for him. Do not let him get space, because he will snatch it away from you. And now he's already looking to close up the gap to Lemon. 9/10 is the current situation. Can easily capitalize on this, but look at Lemon indeed. 2/10 is the gap currently between him and Gooby. Gooby's also in a great run there for Beaker. Didn't quite get the Lemon didn't quite get the run out of the corner as he would have wanted. Is Beaker going to go again on Copy? He's got mode 4. He's looking for the inside. This is a definite send it move in towards turn 2. He's just kept himself out of the back of Copy. No penalties so far, but Gooby's got a better exit. Now Beaker's in trouble. He was on the attack. He's now on the defense. Lemon is too far back. Yawn is right here, attacking Lemon in towards turn 4. And just biding his time, managing his ERS.
Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. This is turning out to be a 4 or 5-way scrap, 6, 7, 8-way scrap for P5 in this race. If anyone makes a mistake, there could be people lower down the field trying to get position, and that's not what you want if you're the likes of Beaker or Gooby or Copy. They're the ones that are going to be under pressure from Lemon and Yawn that are attacking. And Yawn's got some fighting into this. He's not letting his disconnect go at him. He's going to say, right, how can I come back from this race? And he's starting to come back quite a bit. As Nick Turner's got a penalty, his race has gone from bad to worse at the moment. But we're still keeping an eye on to seeing if anyone's going to make the move. Gooby is really catching up on Beaker at the moment. And I'm just riding on board with Yawn, because Yawn has definitely got a good back seat and is going to wait to see what is Lemon going to do, and can Yawn try and get, as Gooby's going into the pits as we thought he was going to be. He was struggling on those tyres, but he was still able to pick up the pace a little bit. So if Gooby was catching up to Beaker, then surely Gooby's going to do quite well on the next set of tyres. And I'm just going to see where Gooby goes on. I mean, he's going to go on the softs, and Nick turns out, where is he ended up? I'm guessing he's in the pits again, Ben. So
potentially. I don't see it in the minute, 'cause I'm just watching Yolta just past Brownie. I think that was off track, so he may have to lane him back through. But although Brownie's going to take him out of what? Going down the inside as Yolta's just ran a little bit too wide. He will have the inside for the next corner, and that's going to be so tense, so tight. Almost sent one of the drivers into the wall. Look at Yonti just trying to find a little gap. He says, excuse me, I'm coming in. I want to get involved in this fight. Almost goes into the side of Brownie, but no, just keeps himself outside of it. Racebook's got a 3-second time penalty. The battle up ahead for P4 is still staying as it is for now. Copy's still leading that little train. Nicky's still leading the race, but this is getting epic.
Yeah, this is getting epic. We've got 10 more laps to go of this Russian Grand Prix. I think this is why this is so exciting, because obviously we've got the mix of strategies. The safety car definitely played into the hands a little bit there. We've seen more closer racing, but we're starting to see the likes of Yawn that benefited from that safety car. Trying to get past on Lemon now, as he's going to go to the outside. Oh, they fucked a little bit. Lemon trying to leave the space as much as he can. And this is where Yawn can really start to hit it home a little bit. We've seen Gooby start to struggle earlier on when he was on 15-lap-old mediums. Maybe, I don't know. We haven't seen the mediums go out for that long, and we only got 10 laps to go. And we may start to see people on the mediums go onto the soft compounder tyres, or they may start to push it towards the end, and we may see people try to push a little more than they're used to, and they may just save a little bit towards the end of the Grand Prix. And I don't think Beaker's going to challenge Copy for now. Is Lemon going to challenge Beaker? No. Yawn is looking feisty towards Lemon. Lemon is trying to fend off Yawn going towards the tricky corner here, going to the right-hander. And it looks like Yawn is really starting. Oh, that was so close of hitting the wall there. Yeah.
It's getting very exciting for Yawn. I mean, he's driving out of his mind right now. I've not seen Yawn drive this aggressive in such a long time. The concern is, are his tyres going to make it? He needs to do 9 more laps, 10 if you include the remainder of the one that they're on right now, and that's a long way to stretch it. We saw Gooby try to take the mediums quite far, and he ended up having a pit, and he's gone onto the softs. Yeah, and that's great. He's going to have a fair bit of pace, but I don't think he's going to be able to recover that amount of effort overall. But I mean, let's just keep an eye on Yawn. He's absolutely tearing right now. 3/10 is the gap. ERS levels are tiny though for him, and same for Lemon. Beaker's in a much better position. He's also got Copy right ahead of him, who's actually better than all of them in terms of ERS levels, and that's insane. He's managing pace. He's managing to keep Beaker at bay, but he's also got, well, I was about to say double his ERS. He doesn't have double. He's now got about 15% more. Beaker needs to just flick it onto mode 5 now and just bolt it past him, but no, that will cost him. He'll be so frustrated with that. Everything was going so well for him, and that one penalty may have just cost him.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah.
I think that I would have to take full responsibility for that, because I was the one that said Beaker did well first. So I do apologise, Beaker, if you're watching this back, but there we go. But anyway, Yawn is getting feisty again into Lemon. It is tough because both of them are trying to give as much. Oh, they touch a little bit there. I wonder if both of them have left a little bit of space there. We've got some yellow flags from Sector 3, but let's not get out this battle between Yawn and Lemon. Lemon is getting very tight to try and defend from Yawn. Yawn is really on the attack here. He really wants that position. Lemon getting a time penalty. He's gone off the track a little bit. I think Lemon has just lost time there as Yawn. Wow, Yawn is up into P6, and he could potentially, if he keeps this up, get P5 if he really starts to save his tyres a little bit. He's on fire, Yawn.
Yeah, I think Lemon's penalty might get removed. I mean, it was a really tense battle between the two of them, and I think ultimately the send-off there from Lemon wasn't his fault. He actually got a little bit of a nudge there from Yawn, which actually sent him wide. So I expect at least one of those 3-second time penalties to be removed, but that doesn't change the fact he has one already anyway. I mean, Yawn does have a penalty from overtaking Yonti when Yonti crashed off into the wall, so that was a 5-second that will be added. I also think that will probably be removed as well. So bear in mind that wherever Yawn finishes in this race, if it's within the 5-second range, I think we may see Yawn actually get that position gained again. But look at him. He's absolutely going for it. Somehow he's managing to have just the right amount of ERS left in his battery, and he's going so quick in the back of Beaker. There was a little bit of a touch there between the two of them. These used to be teammates back in RNL Season 1, and you can see now there is no teammate between the two of them now. Yawn is absolutely going for it, trying to take P5. He's looking for P4 as well. Yes, he may be physically behind the Ferrari, but his eyes are very firmly locked on the car ahead of him. You can see Blue's had an off there as well. I don't know what's happened to him. He's lost the rear.
Between Beer Cam and Blue, I think, because Beer Cam retired and Blue's lost as well. So there might be in contact between the both of them. I don't know. Or it might have just been Blue that's just had a little bit of an off by himself. But let's not concentrate on that at the moment. Yawn is still right on the back of Beaker. We just can't. We don't want to get out. We don't want to lose sight on this battle. We want to keep an eye on this. It's going on pretty much the whole, almost the whole this race.
This is about to go 3 wide.
Oh my god!
And I thought it was going to go 3 wide. They were properly going for it there. It looked like there was just everything was being chucked on the table. And if Yawn had got the slipstream there on the back of Copy, I think he would have absolutely gone for it. But yeah, right now the gap is very tense, very tight together. Yonti seems to have had issues. Yolta's definitely had an issue. Completely rotated his car. It looked like he just spanned the rears from the looks of it. It doesn't. Oh, he's very, very warm. The left wing completely destroyed there for Yolta. So no, something went drastically wrong for him. We didn't get to see it because we're so enthused by the battle that's going on currently. 4P5, potentially P4 as well as Yawn's right there. Lemon's actually bringing himself back into this given the situation he had earlier. But Yawn is just unbelievable.
I won't be surprised if Yawn gets one of our nominations for Driver of the Day. He's got to. Yeah. We've probably written him out due to the fact of his disconnection, but he's not letting that phase him at the moment. He's just forgetting about it. And imagine what he would have been like if he didn't have disconnected. That is the truth, to be honest. It is quite hard to imagine what he would have been like if he stayed disconnected. But if he didn't have disconnected, he would have probably been fighting for the win.
Yeah, and this is the thing. If Yawn had been here, I think he would very much be in that running for it. He's done a very good job of keeping it clean for the most part. And there was a little contact between him and Lemon early. He's had a real big tail kick out there. But now Look at Beaker. Ultimately, Jon's not going to gain on this unless Copy is really slow. Beaker's gone for the outside here, but he's got the very tight braking zone to go into the next one. He has to let Copy through. Copy's ran deep. Beaker's coming around the outside of him. It's actually allowing Jon to get involved in this as well. He's looking for the inside line. Copy's trying to hold it. Beaker's trying to stick around the outside. Jon's going to have to try and find a way through. He's looking for the cutback. He's right through. He's going for the move. There's contact. No, Beaker's lost it. Everything was going fine, and it's just gone wrong for him. Beaker's lost everything and more, and he's come back on the track right in front of the Renault, which I believe is blue. But we need to go back to see who's where and what, because Jon's ahead. He's up in P4. Copy's now in P5 and just on the limit to the DRS. Lemon is closing in on the back of him. That was so sad for Beaker. Everything was going right for him until that moment there.
No, Beaker. I mean, it was going well. He was having some great battles as well, and it only just takes for one little mistake to end your race, and he must be loving life until that moment. That's just racing, unfortunately. It is not over until the checker flag falls, and I think maybe it might be that his tyres may be pushing it a little bit, or he just got a little bit too greedy. I don't know, but yeah. That is a shame. We were starting to see Beaker go back to how he used to be in season 1. But I think now we're just seeing the same old Beaker, which is a shame. I know we're not allowed to show bias here, but I was hoping that Beaker was going to do well, but it's a shame that he had a bit of an off. He'll be probably going to the pits now. No, he's got a front wing intact, so I guess he could carry on, or he might try and go onto the softs. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, hold that thought 1 second, because look at Gooby going for a move on Just Chillin'. Just Chillin's gone defensive, and by defensive I mean he's trying to protect the inside for the next, and that's worked out for him quite nicely. Beaker took the other line before. Here comes Gooby. Look down the inside. Skyrockets through. Sees an opportunity. Sends it. Knows he's got that if he can keep it together. Just Chillin's managed to get back into this. He's managed to just retake P10. But again, Gooby getting the exit of dreams. He's got the position retaken. But that's actually backfiring on him now, because, yes, you may have got it there in the second to last corner. And now you realise at this moment here, you go, actually, I probably shouldn't have done that. Because Just Chillin's got DRS. He's got a lot of ERS that he can play with. And I mean, I don't know if he's going to use it. He's not gone for mud 4. Oh, there it is. There's the mud 4 switch. Is he going to go send it? Gooby's gone defensive. This is going to send Just Chillin really deep into the corner. He's gone right wide. Back on track again. No penalty, no warning. Nothing more than just that. And Gooby will hold on to P10. So I guess I just need to shut my mouth, don't I?
Yeah. I think I don't know. Oh, Ed. Gooby was looking very feisty there, so Gooby's now in the points as well, which will be good for him. I don't think the order's going to change up front at the moment, unless penalties may change a little bit, because I know Nicky's got more penalties. Oh, Beaker's out! No. Beaker's out! Where did he retire? There's a yellow flag. Oh, that's between Blue and Beaker.
Yeah.
And Gooby almost hit Beaker. Wow.
That's sad. That's very unfortunate. I mean, it was going so well for Beaker. Honestly, I was excited. I wanted to be able to talk about the redemption, the revenge, the comeback, all of the words to say that Beaker is back. He's given it the full works, and then it just fell apart. It just was right there, and it just came out of his grasp. So sad news for Beaker. I was really, really hoping and praying, but no, it didn't work out for him. Lemon's got a hell of a lot of penalties. So Lemon, whilst he's P5 right now, he's going to lose quite considerably here due to the amount of penalties he's got. So yeah, cross the line, take 3 laps to go and see how far you can actually go for this. I think he knows. I think he's had enough. He knows, yeah, my race is done. I'm just going to let Copy through, just going to sit tight and just cruise to the end of this Grand Prix. But that will also allow Yonti and Brownie to come into this a little bit. Yonti's within DRS range. Brownie's not that far away from it. Everything's still to play for.
Yeah, the midfield battle is not over, and especially if you're on the cusp of getting a place next season or not, you really got to give it full beans. And there's also people also trying to fight for the championship as well, to see if they can get the prize pool, which is well, obviously the prize pool. There's a few donations. Obviously, Esports Works is given quite a bit as well. So these guys really want to win the port sort of money, and to show that they are the best of the best R&L, and that's what some of these guys are trying to do at the moment. And Mizzo's finding some time onto his teammate Nicky at the moment. Nicky's not going to stay P1 due to penalties, and I think Lemon is still fighting Copy at the moment. So maybe Lemon is trying to save his ERS, is trying to save his tyres to see if he can get it to the end, because he knows that Copy's tyres are going to be on the full fronts at the moment.
Yeah, you'd have thought that Lemon would have actually been pretty happy with the fact that he's on the hards, because right now his tyre wear should be around about the same as everyone else's. They're on the mediums, and that's great if you're in his scenario, but it's not going too well for him as it stands. He's actually losing. Oh, Yonti almost runs into the back of him. That was very close between the two. Lemon's losing pace now on the back of Copy, and he might lose the position as well physically, whilst he is going to lose it after all penalties are applied. Ultimately, he's only going to fall to P8, so still points on the table for him regardless. But yeah, Nicky is still leading this race, albeit I don't think he's actually going to finish. If we got to gap to leader, Wemmels is within that 6-second penalty range of Nicky. He's also just outside of the, I said just, he's 7/10 outside of the penalty range of Mizzo, so he does need to find 8/10 just under in order to get that P1 position physically, because that's the only way he's going to gain it from penalties. And I think Wemmels is still very much in this.
Yes, and I think we underestimated in qualifying, but I think we overestimated him in the race, and he's delivering. He's delivering well, and he's putting one of the best performances I've seen in quite a bit, actually. And I'm sure he's going to be very happy with this result. He's going to be on cloud nine. I think where it was on the podium, he's going to be happy at the moment. He's got the other cars which are not that far behind. Actually, they're about 8 seconds behind. So he's not going to worry about the threat in front, behind, but he's going to more wide see if he can try and get that gap, because he's got 5/10 to kill at the moment. He's only got 1 lap to do it. It's just whose tyres are going to run out the fastest. That is the crucial part. Who's going to manage their setup well? Who's going to have the skill to try and get these tyres to the end? 20 laps on the mediums. That's just really hard. I can't even do that, but these guys are doing it so well, especially the top 3.
Well, this is it, yeah. Look at it. They're doing such a phenomenal job of maintaining it. Just trying to get another 3-second time penalty. Ultimately, that's going to put him outside the top 10. I don't know how many penalties Racebook has, but I believe that he's got less than just chilling. I mean, look at Yonti. He's right there on the back of this Mercedes. The Mercedes seems to be all over the place at the minute. Those hards don't seem to be working well for Lemon at all, whereas Yonti just seems to be loving life on these mediums. Oh, the back end kick out there for Lemon. This is going to allow Yonti to just break it up a little bit. 9 seconds now of penalties to Nicky's name, which means that there's a definite that Wemmels is going to gain that position now on Nicky. It's just whether or not he can bring himself in. Look at that. He's answered the call. It's 3.2 seconds to the back of Mizzo, and that's closing in even more. And Jorn's he's left the session again. Not again, Jorn. He did it. Everything's gone so well for him physically when he's in the game, but then he loses because the game crashed. Get back in here, Jorn. Get that P4 position locked in.
Come on, Jorn. I think everyone is going to pray in the chat for Jorn to come back. I hope Jorn comes back in time, because otherwise he's going to have no point, and no one will wish for no points on Jorn because he was doing so well. I don't know. I would still give him driver of the day even if he does not finish, but I don't think we're allowed to do that. Oh.
Lemon's going down the inside of Copy in towards turn 2, and he's actually stuck on the outside now. This is bringing Yonti right back into this slowly but surely. Lemon's still scrapping with Copy, but Copy is just holding his lines, holding his physical position on track, and Jorn is the car ahead that you can see. It's not over yet between those. It can still keep going. Copy's gone very slow through the corner. Lemon's trying to close in on it. Racebook's got a penalty, which will be news to Just Chillin's ears, because he's trying to hold on to that P10 position right now, and ultimately Copy is under attack quite severely.
Yeah, maybe Copy's tyres are starting to run out a little bit, and maybe Lemon's tyres, he's on the hards, don't forget. Hards can make it to the end, so he's been saving every fibre of his beam just for this moment, but let's draw our attention to the front of the field now. Jorn's joined! Yes, okay. We can breathe now, Ben. We can breathe.
But it's not over yet. He's not physically in his car. Look at that gap. Is 3/10 as it stands. Jorn needs to get into his car and somehow pull away. The AI is currently destroying his ERS right now. Look, mode 5 with 17% with 2 corners left to go. This is going to be tense. Yon's actually just skipped, lost loads as a result. He's actually rejoined and sort of just touched the back of Lemon. And he's losing position as well to Yonti. Yonti's through as well. But as we come across the line, Mizzo takes the win. Buemos was just outside of the position to take it. Nicky takes the 3rd step of the podium. Copy will finish P4. Brownie P5. Yonti P6. Lemon P7. Gooby P8. Just Chilling will eventually come to the line and take P9 at least until penalties are applied. Does Racebook have enough? I think he finished... Yeah, he stays P10. So Just Chilling stays P9. But how sad is that for Yon?
We've had 2 heartbreaks in one stream, in one race. First we've had Beaker, and I was hoping we weren't going to get another one. And then Yon just disconnected. So I feel sad for both of them now. But we've got 2 McLeods on the podium. Bremel's in P2. Bremel's put a sensational podium and performance. And we have an all-German 1-2-3. German takeover in the RNL tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But here's your rundown. So Mizzo takes the win. Steidem Paul finishes in the race win position. Buemos in P2. Nicky rounding out the podium in P3. Did end up getting a few too many penalties and that cost him. I thought he was going to be further out than that, but no, he was managing to keep himself under control. And Copy will take P4. Brownie takes P5. Yonti takes 6th with Lemon in 7th. Gooby takes 8th. Just Chilling manages to get 9th with Racebook in 10th. Marco takes 11th. And the heartbreak of the day, tied I think almost with Beaker, is Yon, who lost out due to the game crash and could have very easily got himself into P4 and held it throughout. But yeah, that is a very sad time there for Yon. Beaker P13, Blue. Sorry, the DNFers now then. So Beaker, Blue, Yolte, Fearcamp, Nickton, Martin G, and Rainbow. I think Rainbow actually didn't get the opportunity to race here today, but that is it. So, final question then, Jess, and I'm pretty sure we're both going to say the same person. Who is your driver of the day?
Shall we do it after 3 and see if we say the same?
Okay, go on then.
1, 2, 3. Brambles.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, I can see why you would go for Bremels. And I don't want to take anything away from Bremels, but for me, I think Yon just deserves it. It's the heartbreak of the day. It reminds me of Bahrain in 2019, when we saw Leclerc, who's absolutely going for it, and everything was going well for him, and then his engine failed, and it's just no mechanical failure, and it's the same for Yon. It's the heartbreak.
And he's still got driver of the day.
Exactly. And I think Yon deserves it too, in my opinion. But it's a split decision between Yon and Buemels. But that's it for the Rwagnation League. Thank you, Jess, for joining me at the caster's desk. It's been an absolute pleasure, as per always. We're back again next week when we are going to be racing in Japan, which is a great track in general anyway. So make sure you stay tuned. And thank you for watching.